The New York Knicks and Philadelphia 76ers are going to open their playoff series this weekend. Let's preview that right now. And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wa2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. If you're brand new, welcome aboard. Please like and subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate everybody's support. So the Knicks and the Sixers facing off in the playoffs for the first time since 1989. And we know that there's a huge rivalry between New York sports and Philadelphia sports, but it seems like basketball is the one sport where it's been a little bit tempered for the last couple of decades, you might say. I guess that's really because these teams are pretty much never good at the same time. Well, that is not the case anymore. These are two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, and here's all you really need to know. The Knicks are the 2 seed, the Sixers are the 7 seed, and yet Philadelphia is favored to win this series. And I guess you could understand why. Philadelphia is the hottest team in the NBA. They've won 9 games in a row, including the play-in victory the other night over Miami. And that streak began the day before Joelembiid, their star center, returned from knee surgery. And the fact that they did beat Miami, that's a pretty good accomplishment because they are known for being one heck of a playoff team. Now, the Sixers, they're 31-8 this year when Embiid plays, but you got to worry about his health a little bit. He's only been back 2 weeks. Clearly, his conditioning it's not where it's supposed to be. And as I watched the game against Miami, you can see he was really playing a lot more on the outside, near the three-point arc. He wasn't really getting down low, in the low post. So most of his damage that he did, and he did do some damage. He scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. Definitely give him credit. But a lot of it was mid-range jumpers, shooting from 3. And, of course, Miami did lose Jimmy Butler in the second quarter. He was hobbled for the rest of the game with a knee injury, and that definitely helped Philadelphia as well. But here's the thing. Embiid, this is one of the differences with the playoffs. The NBA really likes to stretch these series out. It's not every other day. It tends to be 2 days sometimes between games. So the fact that the first 4 games of this series will take 9 days, that can only help Embiid. But it doesn't only help Joel Embiid. It's going to help the Knicks because we know Tom Thibodeau, and I like Tibbs, but he tends to run these short rotations. A lot of times he's only going to play maybe 8 players in a game, and now that's not going to be quite as big of a factor because now you have a little bit of extra rest time. But people also talk about the record with Embiid, that Philadelphia has such a great record. Well, I'm going to give you the counter to that with the Knicks. When OG Anunoby plays, the Knicks have a record of 20 wins and 3 losses. That's right. The first Knick I mentioned wasn't even the great Jalenbrunson. It's OG Anunoby, because to me, that is the X factor of the series, or one of them for sure. I think one of the biggest decisions the Knicks have to make with this coaching staff is who do they put Anunoby on? Will it be Tobias Harris? Will it be Kelly Oubre, Tyronemaxey? That's something they're going to have to decide. All right? That's going to be a big deal. And also, are they going to keep throwing a steady stream of bodies at Joel Embiid to defend him? The Knicks definitely have the bigs to guard him well. Isaiah Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa. All of them could do the job, I think, to different extents. Hartenstein, I think, is going to be the best perimeter defender of the 3, though. And OG could even do that once in a while if he needs to. Okay? Another thing the Knicks are going to do, well, on the defensive side, they love to force turnovers. And one of the big things I see with Philadelphia's offense, they like to throw the ball down low and find the open man for a 3-point opportunity. And the Knicks love to force those turnovers. And when you have guys like Anunoby, Josh Hart, they're capable of picking those passes off and beginning a fast break opportunity. Okay, so that is going to be big. Now, looking at the Knicks stats, especially as of late, Jalen Brunson is averaging 31 points per game, and that's just since Julius Randle went out. Okay, so ever since Randle was injured for the season, suffered the shoulder injury, Brunson knew he had to be scoring the ball more than he was. He had to take that responsibility on his shoulders. He's done that. But that has hurt the Knicks secondary scoring, where you don't necessarily have that reliable, consistent threat. Now, you have some capable players, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, very capable, but their offensive games can be a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes Hartenstein has to have a big game. Sometimes it's Bogey, who has recently had his wrist scoped. We'll have to see if he's ready to go for the series. Sometimes Precious Achiuwa, sometimes it's Deuce McBride. It's never Alec Burks, we know that much. But you wonder, it can't just be a game-to-game situation. The Knicks are in a place where somebody is going to have to step up and go on a run of several games, not just one game, but several. And there's a big difference between doing that in the playoffs versus the regular season, because when you see the same team for 2 weeks at a time, the coach has an opportunity to strategize. He's customizing his game plan to stop a certain player because you're seeing them over and over again. So that's why I wonder, can Josh Hart, can Dante, can one of these types of guys go on a run for several games in a row? That's going to be a big difference. And it might behoove the Knicks to go a little deeper than 8 players. I think this is a situation where the Knicks might have to go 9 guys. It's very, very possible. All right, now here's one advantage that the Knicks have, and I'm going to, I've alluded to this already, but they have the bodies to throw at Joel Embiid. What they need to do is make him run up and down the court. Make it a 94-foot game. That's not something the Knicks usually do, but Embiid doesn't have the conditioning, and you could really wear him out. You could put him in every single pick and roll, okay? And that could really wear him out too. And even the one game this year where Embiid did play against the Knicks, he didn't play super well. He shot 10 of 23 from the floor, and he had 6 turnovers in that one game, and it was a 128-92 Knicks victory. Also, the Knicks outscored Philadelphia by 29 points when Embiid was on the court. This is when he was healthy. This is before he got hurt, too. All right, so the Knicks can definitely handle it. That's one reason I do feel optimistic. But here's a disadvantage. This is one thing Philadelphia could do very well. They have the athletes to throw at JalenBrunson, to guard him. Kelly Oubre, to me, is probably the most natural matchup. He's long enough and quick enough, can move his feet very well. Then you have DeAnthony Melton, who's more physical. There are other guys. They could put Nickbatum on him, who is very, very tall. Kyle Lowry, well-known Knicks killer. Tyronemaxey, if they want to, as well. So somebody else on the Knicks. That's another reason someone else on the Knicks is going to have to score, I think, a good 20 points per game. All right, now I'll give you 2 X factors, one from each team. One is the level of play of Josh Hart. Josh Hart was very good against Philly this year. He averaged 12.3 points per game, 14.3 rebounds, and 5.3 assists during 39 minutes per game. So he will be essential to be that triple-double level Josh Hart. Now, with the Sixers, head coach Nick Nurse has a big decision to make. Tobias Harris versus Nickbatum. Now, Harris had a pretty good season, 20.7 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 3.8 assists, but he played at his best in those 22 games when Nickbatum did not play. All right, Batum, this is his first year in Philadelphia, and when he played with the Sixers, the team went 36-24. When he didn't play, the team went just 11-11. Okay, and Batum was much more impressive in the play-in victory over Miami, scored a season-high 20 points, including 6 for 10 from three-point range. As for Harris, he scored just 9 points on 4 for 10 shooting. And then I got to throw in this one other intangible. The fact that the Sixers have given the Knicks some bulletin board fodder. I know not everybody puts a whole lot of stock into it. Well, I'm going to do that. So the Sixers backup Paul Reed, who I don't think anybody had heard of outside of his own family, was on a podcast with FanDuel. I mean, I guess they couldn't get anybody really good, so they went with Paul Reed. He admitted that the Sixers wanted the Knicks in that first round series. Now, look, it was going to be the Knicksers or the Celtics. I understand the Celtics are the best team in the Eastern Conference, but there's a way to say it. You can still respect both. You can say, yeah, we still respect both teams no matter who it is. It's going to be a tough matchup no matter what. That's all he really had to say, but he out and out said, yeah, we want the Knicks. They're an easier opponent. You don't say that even if it's technically true. Okay, so if I'm Tom Thibodeau, I'm playing that audio during practice, in the locker room. I'm taping it on the walls, whatever I have to do. But I think this is going to be a really entertaining series. Now, I'm not the biggest NBA watcher in terms of the style of play, but you have two different types of teams here. One that's more guard focused and one that's more, big man focused. And, I think it's going to be a very entertaining style. You have two different styles here. And now let's see who is able to out execute the other team. I don't see any way that this series goes any less than 6 games. It's going to be a hard-fought struggle, and whoever emerges, they're going to get either Milwaukee with an injured Giannis or the Indiana Pacers. This is going to be a battle for survival, but I think I'm going to take, because I think Embiid is not only limited, but the Knicks play very well against him as well. I don't know if there's going to be another Sixer player who's going to consistently be able to beat the Knicks 4 times. I don't think that that's going to happen, and I think the Knicks are just a little bit more on a mission. The Sixers have proven to be they've proven to struggle in the playoffs before. I like Tom Thibodeau over Nick Nurse in the coaching department. So I'm going to pick the Knicks. It'll be a brutal series, but I'm going to pick them in 7. That is my prediction for this first round series. But I want to know your thoughts. Put them right down there in the comments. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.